Hello and welcome to another yoga class here in my little living room studio. Welcome, I'm Annalisa. Um, you may like to have a folded blanket or a cushion to sit on as we're doing this, the beginning centering part, and it's nice to have if you want to put it under your knees. And also, we probably will put it under our head later when we lie down. Um, and then also, if it's today, it is a chilly day for me. So, it's nice to have lots of blankets and stuff. So if you want to cover yourself up at any time or at the end during the relaxation, that could be something nice to have. So make sure you've got everything set and then come to find a comfortable seat on the floor. You can sit cross-legged, you can sit however you like. If you want to extend one leg, having the sit bones at the edge of the cushion can be nice because it creates a little bit of height. So sometimes it can help if you feel like you slump a little bit more. Having a little bit more height under the hips creates a little bit um, taller posture. But you can also, if you're feeling like you'd like to start out lying down, feel free. So get yourself comfortable and then close your eyes or take a downward gaze, starting to bring the attention and awareness inward. And start to just become aware of yourself, how you're feeling today. Start to notice where you're making contact with the mat. Notice the points of contact. And start to really feel yourself connected and grounded. If it helps, you could put a hand on your heart, your chest, maybe even one on your belly. And connect with the warmth that you feel there, the vitality that you feel beneath your hands. And as you start to deepen this awareness, you might feel that your breathing begins to deepen. Lengthen the inhale, sending the breath all the way down, maybe into that hand that's on the belly. And then expanding all the way up until you feel the hand on your chest affected. And then exhaling, nice, long and smooth, feeling the hand that's on the chest come down first, and then the mid, and then that hand on the belly. So take a few long, slow, deep breaths in and out. And then bring your hands to the lower ribs. And then keeping your shoulders soft, breathe into the hands so you feel the ribs expanding out to the side. You don't have to force anything, just notice. Perhaps changing the position of the hands just to get a better feel. But this just gives you a better sense of the 3D nature of breathing. We're not just breathing where you're just feeling the front of the body rise and fall. You're expanding like the full balloon. So you're expanding front and back, you're expanding side to side, and you're expanding a little bit up and down as the diaphragm that's underneath the ribs raises and lowers, expands and contracts. Softening the shoulders as you breathe. Softening the muscles of the face, particularly around the brow and the eyes. And softening around the jaw, moving the jaw around a little bit, and then letting it hang loose, but bringing the lips together, but keeping the teeth apart. You can bring your hands down to your rest on your legs. They can be palms up or palms down. As you continue relaxing muscles, breathing, and taking your awareness outwards, start to notice sounds around you. Perhaps the feel of the air on your skin. The clothes on your skin. And the warmth of your hands on your lower legs. Take that awareness into your mind and just be aware, acknowledge any thoughts, feelings, or emotions, and just allow them to be. Neither latching on in a positive or in a negative way. Just letting them be. And if you find yourself getting too fixated there, just remember to bring your attention back to the breath. And finally, allowing this moment to be just as it is. And allowing this moment to be just as it is. And allowing yourself to be perfect just as you are. And now let's take 3 deep breaths in together as a group. Inhaling and exhale. In and out. And then once more on your own. And allow your eyes to open, or taking your gaze upward. Allow yourself, if you're seated, go ahead and move anything that's out underneath you, move it out of the way, and start to roll down on your back, or if you're on your back already, go ahead and stay there. And allow yourself to come down to the mat, rolling down, and bring your arms up over your head, reaching your arms up over the head, reaching, the fingertips to the wall behind you and the toes and feet to the wall in front of you. You can wriggle a little bit, just find length. And then bring your arms down by your sides and bend your knees and raise your feet up towards the ceiling, straightening your legs, and begin to point and flex your feet and toes, starting to warm up the lower body, warming up the ankles, the calves, and then take your toes in a circle on the ceiling, moving them in one direction, taking the ankles through a full range of motion, and then going the other way. And then stop that movement and begin to bend and straighten your legs and the knee. Starting to warm up the knees, warming up the thighs. Seeing if you can keep that upper body soft and relaxed on the mat. And then go ahead and bend your knees all the way and bring the soles of the feet down to the floor. And then pick up your right foot and then allow the knee to make some circles in the air, moving from the hip joint. You're trying to take your hip through a full range of motion. And always remember, as we're going through all of this today, listen to your own body. If I'm saying something that does not work for you, please don't do it. Feel free to change it. Go ahead now and change directions. This experience is for you, and yoga is not about pain or competition. Just be aware of your own self. So now the next time that ankle comes around, let it cross over the left thigh just above the knee, and then raise your left foot off the floor, and then bring your hands behind to hold behind the left thigh. Inhale and exhale, and perhaps gently bring that left knee a little closer towards the torso. Breathing. Perhaps moving a little bit from side to side. And then release your hands, bring both feet back down to the floor. Take a pause, just notice the difference in the sides. And then raise your left foot up off the floor and make some circles with the knee out to the side and around, feeling the hip joint moving. Warming things up, moving it in maybe different ways than you normally do. And then move in the other direction. And the next time the ankle comes around, let it cross over the right thigh just above the knee. Raise the right foot up off the floor. If you like, you can bring your hands to behind the right thigh. Inhale and exhale, and gently draw the right knee a little bit closer towards the torso. Now release your hands, bring both feet back down to the floor, and keeping your knees bent, walk your feet out a little wider than hip width, and begin to take one knee, maybe the right, I'm starting with my right, and allow the knee to come in towards the center, down towards the floor. So you maybe feel a bit of a stretch through the front of the thigh, front of the hip, and then raise it back up, and then take the other leg down and bring it back up, and then alternate sides a few times. Moving mindfully, noticing where you're feeling it. You might feel it different places on different sides. Or maybe after a few repetitions, it starts to feel a little different. And then bring both knees back up towards the ceiling and walk the feet back in. Bring the knees in towards the chest and raise your forehead, raise your upper body so your forehead comes in towards your knees. Hold on to the shins or perhaps wrap your arms around the shins and give yourself a little rock from side to side. Giving yourself a little warm up of the back muscles, kind of a little massage on the floor. Just make sure this feels okay on your spine. And if it feels okay on your spine, if you've got something under it that's a little soft, you can see if you can move up and down, forward and back. And then rock or roll or press yourself up to a seated position. And raise your right arm up in the air and then lean over to the left. And then come back to center and then lean over towards the right, stretching the left arm up and over. Coming up and going to the side, other side. And coming up and reaching to the right. Come up to center, bring the arms down, and then turn your body, twist your body towards the right, coming into a twist, and then release that, come to center, and then twist towards the left. Come back to center, twist towards the right again. You can bring the left hand onto the right knee. And take a few breaths here, and you may even feel, as you breathe, you'll feel different parts expand through the rib cage, the upper body. And you might even carefully add a little bit of movement. So curling forward just a little bit, finding some length from that shoulder blade, bend just a little bit in the upper body, and then raise up, bring the chest a little bit forward, and then move just a little bit. Some flexion and extension here of the spine of the upper back, the thoracic spine, making sure that this feels okay. And then release that, come back to center, and then twist towards the left, bringing the right hand onto the left knee. Taking a few breaths here. And then if you like, see about creating a little bit of movement. This is not going to be a big movement, and it's largely going to be settled kind of right around the in between the shoulder blades, maybe about where the bra strap hits. So just below the shoulder blades. And again, listen. If this doesn't feel good, you can drop it and just twist and breathe. And then release that and bring your chin down towards your chest and allow the back of the neck to lengthen. You might even, if you'd like to have a little bit of massage, a little bit of warming up for the back of the neck, bring one hand or both hands to the back of the neck and just do a little squeezing. So put the palm of the hand and just do a little squeeze, whatever feels good. Just kind of alternating, bringing some warmth, some attention, just some love to the back of the neck. And then you can start to let the chin rise back up to neutral, and then maybe bring that massage to your shoulders. You can bring it back up into the neck. Giving a little podiment tap to the back of the neck, to the top of the shoulders. And while your fingertips are on the tops of your shoulders, go ahead and make some circles with your elbows. And breathe here. And go the opposite way. And open your arms out to the sides and bring one arm across. This is the left arm, and hold, keep the shoulder down away from the ear. And you can turn the head gently from side to side. And then inhale, open the arms out wide, and then bring the other arm across, the right arm across, hold, and turn your head from side to side. Inhale the arms out to the side, and then exhale, bend your elbows, and then you can bring your elbows, your upper arms in by your sides, and start to make a fist and straighten your, make a fist and release the fist. Clenching the fingers in, spreading the fingers wide, starting to feel some warmth in the hand, in the forearms. And then start to make some wrist circles, some hand circles, taking the wrists now through a full range of motion. And then go the other direction. And then shake out the wrists, shake out the arms, shake out the shoulders, do a little shimmy if that feels good. Maybe swing the arms, making sure that there's nothing around you too close that you're going to bang into. And then we're going to be doing a little bit of balance work today. So we'll be up on our toes maybe a little bit. So let's give our feet a little bit of love. Let them warm up. So you can bring one foot out in front of you. You could bring it on top of the thigh if that's available for you. Or you could bring your blanket or cushion and maybe set it in front to give it a little bit of height. Just find what feels right. You can also just leave it on the floor. So to begin with, so let's see, bring the right foot out in front of you, and then take your left hand, and as much as possible, we're going to try to do like a little handshake or a foot shake, a hand foot shake. And so see if you can take the fingers, the left fingers, and see if you can thread them in between your toes. Now, not everybody has the same kind of mobility in their toes, and that's okay. So just work whatever you can in between there. You might not get very far down, but that's a little bit further than you had. So work those in, and then see if you can give, so now you've got this little shake. Now see if your toes can give a little squeeze of the fingers. So this is going to be a little stimulation for the fingers as well. So squeeze the fingers and release. And then squeeze the fingers using the toes and release. And then squeeze the toes in and release. And then start to just really move the foot around. So if you can kind of grasp wherever you're at, take a nice grasp of the foot and then just start to move. And the foot has a lot of mobility. Again, maybe less for some, more for others. But ideally, you've got so many bones, so many muscles. I think you've got 33 muscles. I can't remember. Don't quote me on this right now. I can't think of facts right now. And so go ahead and move those around and just give a little massage, a little warmth. You can even let go and then just make some more massage, just finding what feels good. And really, you can pretend like you're breaking bread. You can take the hands to the inside of the foot and then just give a little twist. A little twist. All right. You can even do a little piggy wiggle. If you remember the little nursery rhyme, you can just do a little pull and twist of each toe, and then pull and twist the other toe. This is a great thing to do every day. You can do this while you're watching television, while you're reading. Just a great thing to do. You can do it before you go to bed. You can do it when you get up from sleeping. All right. Oh, excuse me. Let's just give it a little tappy tap and a little smooth out, and maybe extend that leg. Gaze lovingly at your foot and notice how it feels. And then let's switch sides. So bring that left leg and foot out in front and find the right positioning, get yourself comfortable. And then let's give a little hand foot shake on this side. So start to work the fingers in between the toes as much as you can, as much as feels right today. As you do this a little bit more, it will probably get a little bit easier. So just have patience. And then you can start, so let's squeeze our toes into the fingers. Don't hurt your fingers, and then release. And then squeeze the toes into the fingers and release, and squeeze the toes into the fingers. All right, and then you can really grasp the foot and start to make some movement. Moving the toes around. You can grasp a hold of the foot with the other hand and use it for stability. Just look for the movement. Look for the movement. Find what feels good. You can drop the little hand foot shake and start to massage and just move things about a little bit more. What area feels like it's calling out? And make some little breaking bread kind of movements, little twist. You're not actually really moving the skin, so don't give yourself that kind of rug burn kind of feeling. But just move things about a little bit, explore, and then if you like, you can move your little piggies about, move the toes, give them a little stretch. You might hear some little pops and crackles, and that's okay. Hopefully there's no pain. If there is pain, maybe don't do so quite so much. A little bit more, last little piggies. Last little bit of massage. Give a little slaps, wake things up, slap, and then just give a little smoothing. And then extend that leg out in front, say hi, good job, thanks for supporting me, and notice how that foot feels. Bring both legs out in front of you and just start to internally and externally rotate the legs. And it feels like you'll get the most movement down at the feet, but what we really want to do is bring our attention in to the thigh bones, into the hips. So it's really that we're trying to internally and externally rotate the thigh bones. After you've done that a couple times slowly, you can do a little bit more. You can bring in the rest of the body, just give a little shake. All right, and let's come to the all fours, and here you can unfold your blanket or keep it folded to have under your knees, just to have a little bit more comfort there. And come down, and we'll just do a little cat and dog here, rounding first our spine up towards the ceiling, and then maybe inhaling as we let the belly come down towards the floor, letting the tailbone tip up towards the ceiling, the chin as well. And then as we bring our chin and tailbone inward, we round our spine. So just a few forward and backward, up and down sort of movements. Paying attention to the spine, to the neck, to the shoulders. Breathing into any areas that might still feel a little stuck. And then coming back to a neutral spine, bring your forearms down to the ground. with your elbows beneath your shoulders and flip your palms up towards the ceiling, and your hips and knees will still be stacked on top of each other. So pressing, but start to see if you can press the back of your wrist into the floor, and the forearms are about shoulder width, and so everything else is as well. So see if you can start to press that wrist into the back, or excuse me, the back of your wrist into the mat, into the floor, and then see if you can press your fingers in your fingernails into the floor. Let your head be loose and long so your neck is not upset. Pressing those forearms and elbows, the wrists, the fingertips, maybe even the thumbs. Breathing, breathing, breathing. And then release. You can sit back onto your heels, give a little shake out, smoothing out your mat if you've accidentally dragged it up. Give it a little shake. And then come back down to all fours. Resetting, hands beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips. And again, keeping the lower body where it is, start to reach your right hand forward, and you can start to bring your head maybe a little closer to the mat. As you reach forward, and your left arm can bend as you come down, and begin to press that right hand into the floor, and as if you were going to drag it back, but it's not actually moving. So it's just creating this kind of tension, activation in the side body, around the armpit, maybe moving a little bit from side to side. See how that feels. Maybe a little bit up and down. Just explore. All right, then come back to center, reset to the tabletop, and then extend your left arm out in front of you and start to bring the forehead down towards the floor, letting the right arm bend. And again, reach, press the hand into the floor, and imagine that you were dragging the hand back, but again, you're not actually moving it. Breathing, moving a little from side to side if that feels good. And then coming back to center, and then sit back on your heels and go ahead and bring your forearms down to the ground and the elbows right in front of your knees. Now let your fingertips be forward, and then place your palms on the ground. All right, and then bring your right fingertip to behind your right ear, and keeping your torso close to the thighs, inhale, lift the right elbow closer towards the ceiling, pointed up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, bring the elbows together. And then inhale, lift, exhale, elbow to elbow. Inhale, elbow lifts, exhale, elbow to elbow. Inhale, lift, exhale, elbow to elbow. And once more, inhale, elbow lifts, exhale, down. Now reset the forearms, the elbows just in front of the knees, palms down. And then bring the left fingertips to behind the left ear. Inhale, elbow lifts towards the ceiling. Exhale, elbow down. Inhale, elbow lifts. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, elbow to elbow. Inhale, lift. Exhale, elbow to elbow. Inhale, lift. And last time, elbow to elbow. Bring the forearms down to the ground, and then lift back up onto all fours. Hands beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips. And once again, bring your forearms down to the floor with your elbows now beneath your shoulders. Trying to keep the knees and the hips stacked. And again, bring the palms to face the ceiling. But again, the forearms are shoulder height. And so once again, press the back of the wrists into the floor. This is not easy. It seems like it should be easy, but sometimes it feels like, oh, as much as I think I'm doing it, maybe I'm not actually. So keep bringing that attention to the back of the wrist, pressing into the floor. See, maybe you try to press the back of the wrist and the fingernails into the floor. Again, be aware of the neck. And then maybe bringing the thumbs closer to the floor. Pressing in. See if you can create a little bit more space in between the shoulder blades by pressing the elbows into the mat as well. Oh, and then release that, sit back, give a little shake out of the arms. Whew. All right, I know I feel my arms are warm. So then go ahead and come back to all fours and press the hands into the mat. And as you do that, press the hands into the mat, you'll feel the shoulder blades widen. And then imagine that you were trying to rip your mat apart. So imagine that you're trying to take you're not going to lift your hands, but imagine that you're taking your hands out to the edges of your mat. Okay, so you're going to try to rip it from the center. So press down and then think about gently pressing out. Okay, so be mindful of how you are feeling. You don't have to make this a huge movement, don't have to make a violent movement, but keeping this engagement, I already feel things kicking on. So then start to sit back, but keeping that engagement, keeping that awareness in the hands, in the arms, in the shoulders, and start to come down into a child's pose. And then continuing to keep that awareness, come back to the table. Keep breathing and then go back into child's pose, keeping that awareness, that engagement. Breathing whenever you need to. Coming back up, and we'll do this once more. If you're done though, stop. Coming back to child's pose, and then coming all the way up, up, up. Whew. And then release, and then let that shake it out, release the tension in your shoulders, swing your arms a little bit. Now from here, come up however feels good to you. See if you can come up without using your hands. And if you've got something, got that blanket or cushion, move it out of the way, but not too far. So now from here, give yourself a good shake out now that you're up. You can probably move your arms around a little bit more without whacking things down on the ground. Give your legs a bit of a shake out. And come to stand in a comfortable pelvis width, hip width stance. Inhale the arms up over the head, however feels good, and then reach one arm up and then reach the other arm up. So you start to feel this lengthening through the whole body. And maybe press the foot into the floor as well. Lengthening, 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 wriggling, and then bringing your arms down however you might like, giving them a little shake. Do a little twist here. Let the arms just swing like a rag doll, giving a little comforting thump on the front and back of the torso. And then stepping the feet a little bit wider, go ahead and press your hips from side to side. Press the hips. And then press the hips forward just a little bit and back a little bit. Forward and back. And then join those points. Make some hip circles. And then go the other way. And then take a pause and imagine that there's a figure 8 or an infinity sign that's on the floor beneath you. And then see if you can take your hip, both hips, they're kind of gonna act together. They're each gonna take a side, but see if you can use your hips to trace that figure 8, or it's the sideways figure 8, or the infinity symbol. Just taking your hips through a different kind of movement. Then pause wherever you are, and then can you reverse it? It might be a little bit challenging, but that's okay. We're working the brain as well. Syncing the brain, the body, and the breath. All right, let that come to a close. Bring your feet a little bit more inward. Bring your hands to your hips, and then come up onto the toe of one foot. So raise the heel up of a foot and start to make some movements. So we already had done a little bit of feet warm up, both with our feet up in the air, and we did some massage, but now let's do some real world. Toes and feet are on the ground, so let's move them the way they can move. But again, we often do not move them this way. So you're moving the foot, you're feeling some stretches, you're taking your ankle through a full range of motion, and notice how that's moving the knee, it's moving the hip. So go in both directions, just starting to get things moving, give it a little shake out. All right. And then coming over to the other side and starting to make some movements. These movements don't have to be the same that I'm doing right now. You can kind of make your own. Be mindful of your own feet and maybe just give them a little challenge. Moving from the toes all the way to the hip. And then again, giving another little shake out. And so this balance that we're going to be doing is going to be simple, but it's also going to be a little bit of a challenge, and you can make your own challenge, choose your own adventure. So finding this position first, you're just going to have a hip width position, and to begin with, just start to raise your heels up off the floor. So you're going to come to tippy toes. Whoop. And this could be quite challenging at first, and that's okay, because we can wobble. And while we're not exactly weebles, but you know how weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. But this is a safe place, so if you feel like you're going to fall, chances are you can probably just put your heels down. Okay, so this is a safe way to test, give yourself a little challenge. And you can always bring in a chair or maybe stand by a wall. But most of all, this is kind of fun and it's a challenge. For me, it turns out to be a challenge to stand on my toes and talk at the same time. So for you, I suggest when you come up on your heels and come up on your toes, and again, you can always come down to take a break, shake it out, and then come back in. So when you come up on your toes, first, bring that awareness into your toes and notice, where is the weight? If you're like me, and a lot of people, if you notice, I can lift my big toes off the floor because I've taken my weight out to the side because I'm trying to make it, I guess, as stable as possible. However, that's not super great. So see if you can bring your weight, your awareness into maybe the middle of the ball of the foot so that the big toes are on the ground and you're really gripping into the floor. And then you can come back down, give a little shake. This is definitely going to give the calves a bit of a workout. So if you need to take a pause whenever and just watch, feel free. So as you do this, you can start to make things more challenging by maybe just closing the eyes. And again, here, the purpose of this is not to stay completely still. That can be great, and that can sometimes be more easily achieved when you've got your your feet on solid ground and the whole foot is on the floor. That's a lot easier to stay stable. So this is really a challenge in of itself. So there's going to be wobbling, but that's okay, because again, we need to learn how to ride the wave of life, which is going to give us some wobbles, and we need to be able to flow with it, okay, and laugh with it a little bit if necessary. So you keep a little bend in the knees, and you can bring your arms out to the side. Now here, you can start to play. Maybe you bring your arms up. Maybe you just bring one arm up. This is all choose your own adventure, okay? Eyes can be closed, eyes can be open. Maybe you keep the eyes open, but you turn your head to look out to the side. And then maybe you come back to the center and then back the other way. Ooh. All right. All right, so there's a ton of different ways you can challenge that. So come back down, bring your heels down, give a little shake out, maybe even stepping back if you want to do like a little calf stretch. Just give a little love there. And then come back to your standing position, your mountain pose, Tadasana. And start to bring your weight over into your right leg. So start to lean over. So you start to maybe lift your heel up just a little bit, and then schloop the hip in. So you've got most stuff stacked. Okay, you've got kind of like a long line here. Okay, and you're going to bring your weight into that right foot, and then see if you can lift your left foot off the floor. All right. And so this could be easy. This could be already a challenge. You don't even have to lift it very far. You can always bring that foot back down, okay? So then you can start to play like we did standing on our toes. You can close your eyes, see how that works. And you can bring your arms out to the side. Maybe bring the knee up. Maybe you start to explore the space. You start to pretend like you're flying a little bit. You take your leg a little bit behind you, start to hinge at the hip, and you sort of explore, maybe rotating a little bit. Again, just choose your adventure, knowing that you can move your arms, move your legs, always maintaining that grip into the floor, bringing your awareness there for a moment, just noticing that contact. This is going to be helpful, because what happens if you slip on the floor? You know, you start to go, woo, woo, woo. Well, maybe you're starting to build up some stability so that you don't completely wipe out. Okay, let that leg come down, shake out the legs, come back to standing, your mountain pose, kind of the hip width, pelvis width stance. Close your eyes for just a moment and just notice. Let your nervous system reset a little bit, taking a little scan of how things are feeling. And then open your eyes and start to lean over towards the left. Swoop the hip in just a little bit, bringing it a little bit more over to the right. And you start to be able to lift that right foot up off the floor. And here we go on the adventure on this side, making sure that you're really gripping the mat with your foot. And then you can keep your eyes open, you can keep your eyes closed. You can move through all dimensions. Maybe raising the arms up over your head. Bring your leg behind you. Keeping a little bend in the left knee, just a little bit, knowing that you can bend it even more if you like. That can be a change as well. Turning your head from side to side. Then what about looking up? And then maybe out to center again. Maybe looking down or behind you. So many different ways to play with this. Taking a couple more breaths on this side. And then letting the foot come down, giving it a shake, giving everything a shake. Give everything a shake, a little hip movement from side to side, the arms, the legs. Again, step the foot back briefly, just a little bit, just to have a little bit of a calf stretch. Maybe coming up on the toes, just giving a little cool down for the calves and the toes, the feet. You have no doubt felt a lot of your foot muscles. All right, give it a little bit more of a shake. Step those feet out wide, wider than hip width. They don't have to be crazy wide. Take your toes out to about 45 degrees. And then start to bend your knees and come down into an upright squat. And actually, let's straighten the legs again. Bend the knees, straighten, bend, and straighten. And then bend and straighten. You can bend, bring your hands down, start to move your feet behind you, come down to the floor. When you're down on your knees, bring your hands out in front of you, clasping your hands, interlacing your fingers, and allow one hip to come to the side as if you were bringing the hip down to the floor. It's okay if it doesn't touch. And then lift back up, and then bring the hips down on the other side. And up, and once more either side. Hips down to one side, and up, and then down to the other. And then you can let them rest. Swing those legs out in front of you. Give a little leg shake here. A little internal and external rotation. And as you internally and externally rotate, see if you can take them a little bit wider. You don't have to, I would recommend not lifting your legs and moving them out as wide as possible or even scooting forward. Just let them kind of be about as far as you can move them out yourself. And bring your arms out in front of you, palms facing each other, fingers extended. And then pivot over towards the right, lean as if you were handing something just past your feet. You don't have to come down very far. Raise back up, twist and lean and up. Twist towards the other side and up, twist and lean. And then you can start to play with the arms a little bit. Choose your own adventure here. Maybe making a large sweep from side to side. Coming up maybe and around. Switching directions if you're making a big circle. And then reaching those arms up, reach, reach, reach. Interlace the fingers up above you, and then move the hands a little bit from side to side. So it's like you're getting that good morning stretch. And then with some beautiful arms and wrists, see if you can just spiral everything down. Bring your legs back in. Come down or swing around so that you're lengthwise on your mat and start to come down to your mat. And if you've got that cushion or pillow or blanket, see if you can bring it behind your head, just to give your head just a little bit of height. Oh. Bend your knees and bring your knees in towards your chest and curl up again into that tight ball. Rocking a little bit from side to side if you choose. And then letting your head come back down. Allow your knees to stay bent and the soles of the feet to come down to the floor. Bring your arms out to the sides and raise your hips just slightly and take them a little bit over to the left. And then raise your feet off the floor, bring your knees towards your chest, and then allow the lower body to roll over towards the right. So you're coming into a supine spinal twist. And you could use your right hand to hold the outside of the left leg. And take a few breaths here. And let go of the hand, let go of the leg. Start to roll back to your back gently, bringing the knees back up towards the ceiling. Place the soles of the feet on the floor. Again, lift your hips up a few inches and then slide them just a little bit over to the right. Then pick up your feet, move the knees in towards the torso, and then allow the knees to rotate over towards the left. The left hand can hold the outside of the right leg. And breathe into this supine spinal twist on the back. Release your hand. Allow your back to gently roll back to the mat. Reposition yourself, your shoulders, the back of your head, your hips, and begin to extend your legs down onto the floor, coming into Shavasana. Knowing also that it's okay to keep the knees bent. Or if you have a bolster or another cushion or pillow or something that you'd like to stick under your knees just to give the knees a little bit of height for a little bit of low back relief and protection, feel free to do that. You can also cover yourself in a blanket, get yourself comfy, and begin to start taking some long, slow, deep breaths in and out. Lengthening the inhales and exhales and letting yourself just sink deeply into the mat. Your arms are out by your sides, with your palms towards the ceiling, about 45 degrees out to the side. Take your awareness up into your head, into your face, and begin to let all the muscles, all the facial muscles relax. The forehead, the brow, the eyes, cheeks, nose, and mouth. And allow that jaw to move around a little bit, move the jaw just slightly. And then allow the teeth to be slightly apart, jaw relaxed, mouth, lips touching. Let the relaxed awareness flow into the ears and around the ears, to the temple and scalp, down the back of the head, into the back of the neck, the sides and the front of the neck as well. The shoulders, down the upper arms, the elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, and fingers. Bring the awareness back up into the shoulders and start to move the relaxed awareness into your chest and upper back, following the spine, coming down into the mid-back, the abdomen, the low back, the pelvis, the hips, feeling your whole torso heavy and relaxed. And slide your awareness down from your hips through the front and back of the thighs, into the knees, into the front and back of the calves, to the ankles, heels, feet, and toes. Feeling your whole body lying relaxed on the mat. Feeling your nervous system growing quiet. Now begin to deepen your breath, deepening your awareness. And begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, starting to bring some more movement into the body. And gently begin to bend your knees and roll over onto your favorite side. From here, begin to press yourself up to a seated position, finding a comfortable seat, keeping your eyes gently closed or keeping a downward gaze. Again, bringing your hand to the middle of your chest. And actually bring your hands to prayer position. So bring your palms together, bring them to the sternum. And with the back of the thumbs, press the back side of the thumbs into the sternum and just make a little circle right there. A little circular massage there. And go the other way. And actually undo the prayer position, bring your fingertips to the sternum, and just give yourself a little massage through the chest, through the sternum. Feeling your breath deepening a little bit as you massage some of these muscles. It can get a little bit tight. And knowing also that you're massaging in this heart center, right around where the physical heart is, but also where the heart energy center is. Breathing into that space, expanding it, opening our hearts, opening our minds, increasing our breath. You can give a little smooth out to the chest. Maybe just stacking your palms on top of each other over the middle of your chest. Breathing now into that warmth. Feeling heart activated. Hopefully you're feeling calmer and looser, more open and warm in body, mind, and spirit. And let's take a moment to think about the world, the people that we love. Send them some love. It can be easier to send love to people that you love first. And then expand that inner vision out to the people that you don't know, maybe the people that maybe you're not quite so fond of. That's okay, we're just human. And see if you can just open your heart a little bit more, send them a little love, a little peace, a little calm. You can do everybody a lot of good. Send them some deep breaths, some comfort. Maybe envisioning both the country you're in, our planet Earth. I think it's fair to say we're all on the planet Earth. And let's just envision it wrapped in love, wrapped in safety, wrapped in calm. And then let's retract that vision, bringing it back into our own homes, wherever we are right now, coming back and focusing right into that warmth, feeling the warmth of your hand on your own chest, feeling your clothes beneath your hand, maybe noticing the beat of your heart, and sending yourself love, sending yourself compassion, sending yourself calm. Knowing that at any time you can come back to the breath, to some movement, syncing the movement and the breath together. And that can go a long way to really calming you down, centering you, bringing you into the present moment. And so bringing your hands, your palms together again in prayer position. May we be free of suffering. May we have physical happiness. May we have mental happiness. May our hearts be at peace. And allow your eyes to open. Bring your hands down to your lower body. Give yourself a smile. Give yourself a thumbs up, a little pat on the back, pat on the shoulders for showing up today. And I thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. And I'll see you next time.